Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today's date is the 9th of November 2021. Local time is 16:18 hours. So thanks for tuning in. I feel constrained to make another video, basically concerning the strange case of Alec Baldwin and the tragic death of Helena Hutchins and the injury of the other person involved. There doesn't seem to be that much interest here in the UK. It would seem I can't find any of the major UK commentators saying much about this. There's a lot over the pond, but doesn't seem, I've not been able to find anybody saying anything here in the UK. So maybe it's not impacting us as much here in the UK as it is in the US. But for whatever reason, even though I live in the UK, for some reason I devour every single video concerning the Alec Baldwin case. The tragic shooting. And let me say first off that this is a tragedy. And my heart goes out to everybody concerned. This is a tragedy. I don't think anybody says that this was done with malice aforethought, that this was a deliberate murder. Though some people have said that a live round could have been introduced as sabotage. So it's getting quite interesting. But I, for one, I've just become fascinated with this. For my sins during my life, I've worked in a lot of companies, and you know, some companies, health and safety, certainly here in the UK, has been quite a big issue. There's been a lot of mockery about the health and safety culture. You know, certainly the Daily Mail, some of the guy called Little John in the Daily Mail, and certainly even some Christian organisations have really taken the mickey out of this. You know, political correctness gone wild with what they call health and safety. You know, they miss the H off the health and safety. And they take the mickey out of it because, you know, it's ridiculous, you know. And it's certainly, if you're like me, you're old school, you don't really bother with health and safety because it just slows things down and so on and so forth. So it's a very, for me, health and safety is a controversial issue. And for me, ultimately, regardless of the kind of industry that it was, a person has just recently lost her life just by being at work. And I'm amazed that more people haven't picked up on this from a health and safety point of view. That somebody has lost their life and another person was seriously injured of what seems to be a breach, a serious breach of procedures. Here in the UK we have procedures, and apparently in America they have procedures which, you know, every task in the workplace, it doesn't matter that it's Hollywood, it is the workplace. It is governed by rules and regulations, laws, procedures. Health and safety. At the end of the day, nobody wants this. You don't want a death in the workplace. You don't want a serious injury in the workplace. At the end of the day, people go on, health and safety's gone wild, political correctness gone wild, it's all garbage, there's nobody's got any common sense anymore. There are all the arguments against it, but at the end of the day, when we end up with a situation like this, where a young woman has been shot on set and is now dead, to me, that brings health and safety back to where it always should be. It would seem to me. For some reason, I'm fascinated by this. It would seem from I've been watching the reports, the police reports, you know, endless YouTube videos on this subject. I still don't know everything. Obviously, I wasn't there. But what we do know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, one person died and another person was seriously injured. That's what we do know. And that was done by a live round. That is the logic of it. So, then it goes on and on and on and on. There will be, I think, criminal charges brought against somebody, but who? Was Alec Baldwin responsible for that weapon? You know, or should he have been able to put his trust in the assistant director? They call it the AD for short in America, the assistant director. Because apparently what happened, the chain was, and we don't know anything, certainly I don't know anything prior to the assistant director. I don't even know where the assistant director got the gun from. But the assistant director, it is alleged, got the gun from somewhere, cried out cold gun, meaning that the gun is safe, and handed it to Alec Baldwin, who did not check, who took the assistant director's word for it, that it was a safe gun. And then he proceeded to point what he thought was a safe gun at the camera, pulled the trigger, and killed the camera operator, and seriously injured the person that was behind. Now, should he have trusted the assistant director? Apart from what I've been hearing, the assistant director had no business handling that weapon in the first place. The person who should have had that gun was the armourer. The armourer should have done the checks and made certain that it was a safe weapon before handing it to the actor. So what the assistant director was doing in the middle of that chain, nobody knows. According to most of the reports I've heard so far, the assistant director should have had nothing whatsoever to do with that. Obviously, look, I've never been on a film set in my life. I don't handle weapons. I'm just in receipt. For some reason, I've taken a massive interest in this case, and I'm just. And this is just my reaction to countless hours of internet videos on this subject, and I just need to spout off myself, especially here in the UK with the health and safety culture which we're supposed to have. I think there's been a decline in the health and safety culture here in the UK ever since COVID, paradoxically enough. Because COVID, there's been a lot of slackness. That's my view. If I'm going to get sacked for saying it, I get sacked for saying it. There's been a lot of slackness on health and safety. But this, to me, has brought the health and safety issue right back into sharp focus. Let not this woman die in vain. Helena Hutchins, let her death not be in vain. Let something good come out of this. That's my view. As a result of this, we're more safety conscious. The mockery, even inside the Christian church, I've heard people who consider themselves to be radical Christians have been mocking the health and safety culture. And that is wrong. Ultimately, when you end up with this case like Helena Hutchins, somebody dead and another person injured, and then don't even get me going on a near miss, which I may have mentioned in a previous video. The whole concept of the near miss, because allegedly on this set, there were 3 discharges of weapons prior to the lethal shooting of Helena Hutchins. 3. Apparently 2 accidental discharges, and the 3rd accidental discharge, somebody shot their foot. Can you believe that? So on each case, there should, certainly in the UK, in certain companies, not all companies, but in some companies, that's a near miss. We discharged a weapon. Fortunately, thanks be to God, nobody got injured, nobody got killed. That was a near miss. We need to tighten up. And then if you had 2, well, my goodness, we've had 2 accidental discharges here in the UK. Surely we would have, tightened up procedures. And then a 3rd accidental discharge with somebody getting shot in the foot. Man! Everything should have been squeaky clean. Everything should have been squeaky clean, but obviously it wasn't. And then apparently the camera crew walked off set, citing safety concerns, and still nothing was done. Because Alec Baldwin, I don't know a lot about these things, but he was the boss. He was the CEO. In other words, he was the executive producer or he was not only was he the lead actor, but he was also the producer, which means he's the boss. Which means that the boss should have been like, hey, why aren't safety protocols being followed? That is the boss's job. The boss should have been leaning on the armourer. Yeah, all right, apparently it's the assistant director's job. Hey, time is money. We need to get this thing through. Screw the safety procedures. But the producer should have been outranking the assistant director and said, yes, I realise that time is money, but we cannot breach safety procedures. It should have, that should have been the position. I have worked in companies where it's a finely tuned balance between health and safety and getting the job done fast. And who wins that argument? We need to get that product out the factory door and we need it out yesterday. And if we follow the procedures, we're not going to hit the target. There are issues. But then if you're going to be an armourer on a set and you've got the assistant director giving you hell because we need to get this thing done and if we follow your procedures you're going to add another 10 hours to the shoot, it's unacceptable. So screw your procedures. I'm the assistant director. I know what I'm talking about and you do not challenge me. And then look what happened. Now you've got a death on site. Surely, and I'm just amazed that hardly anybody in the UK, there's much better speakers out there in the UK than me, who pontificate on a whole range and a whole raft of subjects. They usually, go for the things that are in the press, but I've hardly seen any UK videos on this tragic case. I'm just going to leave it there for the time being. But my call is for the people out there who are more articulate, more eloquent than myself. I would appreciate some UK input on the Alec Baldwin case. So as always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit subscribe and all the rest of it. Hit like if you think it's good, hit dislike if you don't, and please leave any comments. And if I have missed some of the UK content creators on this subject, please point them out to me because I've not seen any. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.